Back in 1970, America unveiled a weapon that would change military history, the Minuteman III missile. Picture a 60-foot giant sleeping quietly in underground silos across America, ready to launch within minutes. That's what makes it special, and that's why it got its name, Minuteman. Today, the Minuteman III stands as the backbone of America's ground-based nuclear forces, working alongside submarine launchers and bomber aircraft in a three-piece defense system. While other weapons have come and gone, this missile has stood guard for over 50 years, longer than any other missile in U.S. history. Get ready as we uncover the secrets behind this remarkable piece of military technology. We'll explore everything from its incredible 15,000 miles per hour speed to the dedicated teams who keep it ready around the clock. From its underground silos to its advanced guidance systems, we're about to discover what makes this missile a cornerstone of American defense. And if you're into military technology and defense systems, hit that subscribe button. You'll be the first to know when we share more fascinating stories about modern military hardware. Now, let's dive into the impressive capabilities of this legendary missile. Ever wondered what makes a missile system stay active for over half a century? The answer lies in the numbers. Right now, 400 Minuteman III missiles stand ready across America's heartland. Think about that. 400 of the most sophisticated missiles ever built, each one perfectly maintained and ready to launch at a moment's notice. But here's the real kicker. How do they keep all these missiles ready 24/7? Well, stick around, because that's just the beginning of this fascinating story. Let's jump back to 1970. The world was deep in the Cold War, and America needed something revolutionary. Enter the Minuteman III. But why was this missile different from everything that came before? The secret wasn't just in its design, it was in its purpose. This wasn't just another missile, it was America's new shield, a deterrent so powerful that its mere existence helped maintain peace. Sounds hard to believe, right? Well, wait until you hear what happened next. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is an ICBM? The Minuteman III isn't your average missile. It's an intercontinental ballistic missile, capable of reaching any point on Earth in under 30 minutes. Imagine something as tall as a 6-story building, flying faster than 15,000 miles per hour. That's faster than 20 times the speed of sound. But here's the twist. Speed isn't even its most impressive feature. And here's where the story gets really interesting. Ever wondered why it's called Minuteman? The name goes back to the American Revolution, but with a modern twist. Just like those colonial militia members who could be ready to fight at a minute's notice, these missiles can launch within minutes of receiving the command. Pretty clever, right? But there's something even more fascinating about its launch system that most people don't know about. Before we get to that mind-blowing detail though, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what a missile capable of crossing oceans looks like up close? Let me paint you a picture that'll blow your mind. Standing next to a Minuteman III is like looking up at a 6-story building, but one that can fly faster than anything you've ever imagined. At 59.9 feet tall, that's nearly 60 feet. This technological marvel towers over everything around it. But here's what's really going to surprise you. Despite its massive height, it's only 5.5 feet wide. Think about that for a second. A missile taller than most houses, yet slim enough to fit in your garage. Speaking of surprising facts, let's talk about weight. You might want to sit down for this one. A single Minuteman III tips the scales at 79,432 pounds. That's about the weight of 20 full-grown elephants. But here's where it gets interesting. How does something this heavy move so fast? Well, hold on to your seats, because what I'm about to tell you defies imagination. This missile can reach speeds of approximately 15,000 miles per hour. Let that sink in. At that speed, you could travel from New York to Los Angeles in just 12 minutes. But speed isn't even the most impressive part. Want to know something even more mind-blowing? The Minuteman III can hit targets over 6,000 miles away with incredible accuracy. That means it could launch from California and reach targets on the other side of the Pacific Ocean in less than 30 minutes. Incredible, right? But wait, there's more. Now, here's where things get really technical, but I promise you'll want to hear this. The Minuteman III uses a three-stage design, and each stage is like a chapter in an action-packed story. The first stage is the powerhouse. Imagine a rocket motor with enough thrust to lift those 20 elephants straight up into the sky. The second stage kicks in when the first runs out, pushing the missile even higher and faster. But it's the third stage that holds the biggest secret. Want to know what makes it so special? Well, that third stage is like the brain of the operation. It's what guides the missile through space. Yes, actual space. This missile flies so high, it technically leaves Earth's atmosphere. But there's something about this guidance system that most people don't know, and it's absolutely crucial to understanding why this missile is so unique. You might be thinking, how does all this technology work together? Well, stick around, because I'm about to reveal the ingenious engineering that makes this possible. And trust me, what comes next will make everything we've discussed so far seem simple in comparison. But before we dive into those incredible details, let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered how something this powerful stays safe in its underground silo? The answer involves some of the most advanced security systems ever created, and you won't believe what happens if someone tries to tamper with it. The story of how these specifications came to be is even more fascinating than the numbers themselves. Want to know the real reason behind these exact measurements? Stay tuned, because that revelation might just change everything you thought you knew about modern military technology. Deep in America's heartland, hidden beneath peaceful farmlands and prairies, lies one of the most sophisticated defense networks ever created. While millions drive past these areas every day, few realize they're passing by the home of the Minuteman III missiles, a system so advanced it helped reshape global military strategy. The story starts with three carefully chosen Air Force bases. In Montana's rugged landscape, Malmstrom Air Force Base stands guard, its missiles protected by natural terrain and strategic positioning. Head north to Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota, where the vast open plains create an unparalleled security advantage. No one can approach without being spotted from miles away. Complete this triangle with F.E. Warren Air Force Base in Wyoming, and you've got a defensive network that covers much of North America. But the genius isn't just in choosing these locations. The real story lies in how military planners use geography to maximize security. These bases sit hundreds of miles from any coastline, making them nearly impossible to target from submarines. The continental climate might be harsh, but it provides perfect conditions for maintaining these sophisticated weapons. The sparse population means minimal civilian interference, while the solid bedrock beneath creates ideal conditions for building the most advanced underground storage systems in military history. Let's talk about those underground marvels, the silos. Each Minuteman III rests in what's essentially a technological fortress, a reinforced concrete and steel tube plunging 80 feet into the earth. These aren't simple holes in the ground, they're engineering masterpieces. Each silo contains systems to control temperature, humidity, and even seismic activity. The walls are designed to withstand massive attacks, while the internal systems can keep the missile ready for launch in any conditions, from blizzards to heat waves. The geographic distribution follows an intricate pattern that took years to perfect. Imagine a massive web spreading across 3 states, each missile positioned to create overlapping fields of coverage. This isn't random. It's a carefully calculated deployment strategy where every silo's location was chosen to maximize defensive capabilities while ensuring rapid response times. The distance between silos, their depth underground, even the soil composition around them, every detail was analyzed and optimized. Transportation and maintenance of these missiles involves one of the most complex logistics operations in military history. Special vehicles, designed specifically for moving these massive weapons, travel along carefully planned routes. The security protocols during transport are so extensive, they rival presidential security details. Each movement is timed perfectly, coordinated across multiple agencies, with backup plans for every possible scenario. The communication network linking these bases represents another triumph of military engineering. A web of hardened communication lines, backup systems, and redundant protocols ensures these bases can coordinate instantly, even under the most extreme conditions. This network, much like the missiles it controls, never sleeps. maintaining constant vigilance over America's skies. This strategic placement of 400 missiles across America's heartland creates not just a defensive shield, but a testament to military planning and engineering excellence. It's a system where every location, every distance, and every detail serves a specific purpose in maintaining one of the world's most effective deterrent forces. At the heart of America's nuclear deterrent lies a machine so complex it took decades to perfect. The Minuteman III isn't just a missile. It's 3 rockets stacked together, each playing a crucial part in delivering unmatched performance. Think of it as a 3-act play, where each act pushes the boundaries of what's possible in rocket science. The first stage houses the largest rocket motor ever built for an ICBM. When ignited, it generates thrust equivalent to 6 jumbo jets at full power. This massive engine burns solid fuel, a specially formulated mixture that's more stable and reliable than liquid fuel. The genius? Once lit, it can't be turned off. The first stage burns for exactly 60 seconds, pushing the missile through the thickest part of the atmosphere at speeds approaching 5,000 miles per hour. The second stage takes over seamlessly as the first falls away. Smaller but more efficient, it operates in thinner air where less thrust is needed. But here's where the technology gets really interesting. This stage doesn't just provide power, it starts the complex dance of guidance and control. As it burns, hundreds of sensors constantly measure position, speed, and trajectory, making tiny adjustments to keep the missile on its perfect path. Stage 3 is where pure engineering genius shines. Unlike earlier stages, this one can restart multiple times, giving the missile unprecedented accuracy. Inside this stage sits a guidance system that would make NASA jealous. It uses stars for navigation, yes, actual stars, comparing their positions to ensure pinpoint accuracy. This system is so precise it can guide the missile to within a few hundred feet of its target even after traveling thousands of miles. The navigation technology reads like science fiction, but it's very real. Inertial guidance units containing gyroscopes so sensitive they can detect Earth's rotation work alongside star-tracking telescopes. These systems constantly talk to each other, cross-checking their calculations thousands of times per second. If one system fails, others take over instantly. There's no single point of failure. The control system orchestrates this symphony of technology. Imagine a computer that must make life or death decisions in milliseconds while flying at 15,000 miles per hour through space. It processes more data in 1 second than early computers could handle in an hour. The system continuously monitors every aspect of flight, from fuel burn rates to minute trajectory changes, making instant corrections when needed. But perhaps most impressive is the accuracy capability. In the early days of ICBMs, getting within a mile of the target was considered good. The Minuteman III changed everything. Using advanced algorithms and multiple guidance systems, it achieves accuracy that earlier designers thought impossible. This precision comes from millions of calculations performed during flight, each one refining the missile's path through space. What's truly remarkable? All this technology has to work perfectly every time, without exception. There's no room for software updates or reboots when you're flying at speeds that could circle the Earth in under 2 hours. And somehow, through brilliant engineering and constant refinement, they made it work. The real question isn't just how they built it, it's how they keep improving it. Modern upgrades have taken this 1970s design and kept it relevant in a digital age. But that's a story that leads us into the next fascinating chapter of this technological marvel. Behind every Minuteman III lies a security system so thorough it seems almost obsessive. At its core stands a principle as old as nuclear weapons themselves. No single person can launch a missile. This two-person concept isn't just a rule, it's built into the missile's DNA. In each launch control center, buried 60 feet underground, 2 officers sit at identical consoles separated by a small walkway. Think of it as the world's most serious buddy system. These officers, specially selected and trained, must perform synchronized actions to even begin the launch sequence. One person turning a key does nothing. Both must turn their keys within seconds of each other. And these keys are physically separated by enough distance that no single person could ever reach both. But synchronized key turning is just the beginning. The launch sequence reads like a Hollywood thriller's script. Multiple coded messages must arrive from different command centers. Each message contains part of a code, like pieces of a puzzle. Without all pieces matching perfectly, nothing happens. These codes change regularly, and no one person knows the entire system. The safety interlocks would make a bank vault jealous. Mechanical locks prevent accidental activation. Electronic sensors monitor every component. Temperature sensors, motion detectors, and pressure plates create an invisible web of security. Try to tamper with any part, and the whole system locks down tighter than a drum. But here's the clever part. These aren't just simple on-off switches. Each interlock operates independently, using different technologies. If one fails, others remain active. Physical security takes things to another level. Multiple layers of fencing surround each site. Underground sensors detect movement. Cameras watch every angle. Armed security teams patrol constantly. But the real security happens invisibly. Radio frequencies are monitored. Thermal imaging tracks heat signatures. Even the ground itself is monitored for vibrations that might indicate tunneling. Emergency protocols showcase military planning at its finest. Every possible scenario has a response plan, from natural disasters to cyber attacks. If primary communication lines fail, backup systems kick in automatically. If those fail, there's another layer of backups. The system can operate even if multiple sites are disabled. But the protocols aren't just about maintaining launch capability. They're equally focused on preventing unauthorized access or accidental activation. The human element remains crucial. Security personnel undergo rigorous background checks. Regular psychological evaluations ensure stability. Random drug tests and continuous monitoring become part of daily life. Even off-duty activities face scrutiny. These measures might seem extreme, but when you're guarding weapons of this magnitude, there's no such thing as too careful. Training for these security protocols never stops. Teams regularly face simulated emergencies. They practice responses until they become instinct. Every procedure gets tested, refined, and tested again. But here's what makes it remarkable. Despite all this complexity, the system must remain ready to respond within minutes if authorized. This balance between security and readiness represents one of the greatest achievements in military engineering. Every lock, every sensor, every protocol serves both purposes, preventing unauthorized use while ensuring authorized commands can be executed swiftly and surely. The next time you hear about nuclear security, remember this. It's not just about keeping weapons safe. It's about maintaining a system so reliable, so secure, and so ready that its very existence helps prevent its use. That's the ultimate achievement of the Minuteman III security system. Inside America's nuclear arsenal, a massive operation runs 24/7 that few people ever see. Maintaining the Minuteman III isn't just a job. It's an intricate dance of precision, timing, and dedication that costs billions each year. But what does it really take to keep a 50-year-old missile system ready for instant action? Every single day, teams of technicians perform detailed inspections on different parts of the missile system. These aren't simple walkarounds. We're talking about sophisticated tests that check everything from electronic signals to the smallest mechanical components. Each missile gets a complete inspection every 3 months, following a checklist that would make a Boeing 747's maintenance manual look simple. The most fascinating part? They do all this without ever fully assembling the missile. Component replacement follows a schedule that leaves nothing to chance. Some parts get swapped out every few months, others yearly, and some major components last several years. The rocket motors, those massive engines that power each stage, undergo replacement every few years through a process that takes weeks and costs millions. But here's the kicker. These replacements happen while keeping the missile ready for action at almost all times. Electronic systems require constant updates in our digital age. Think about updating your phone. Now imagine doing that for a weapons system where failure isn't an option. Teams of software engineers and computer specialists work continuously to protect against cyber threats while maintaining the system's legendary reliability. They perform these updates through one of the most secure networks ever created, isolated from the internet and protected by layers of encryption. Testing procedures rival those of space missions. Each component gets tested individually, then as part of subsystems, and finally within the complete missile system. But unlike NASA's rockets, these tests must be done without ever launching the missile. Instead, they use sophisticated simulation systems that can replicate every possible scenario. The guidance system alone undergoes over 50 different tests every maintenance cycle. When it comes to cost, the numbers are staggering. Annual maintenance for the entire Minuteman III fleet runs about $7 billion. That might sound high until you break it down. Each missile requires roughly 200 maintenance hours per month. Multiply that by 400 missiles. Add in security, support staff, and specialized equipment, and suddenly that number makes sense. But perhaps most impressive is what happens during a major maintenance operation. Teams must remove a 60-foot missile from its silo, transport it to a maintenance facility, perform complex procedures, and return it, all while maintaining absolute security. This ballet of heavy machinery and precision work happens regularly across 3 states, often in extreme weather conditions. The dedicated professionals who perform this work represent another kind of deterrent. Their expertise ensures that every missile remains reliable decade after decade. While politicians debate and strategies change, these teams quietly keep America's nuclear deterrent ready, one inspection, one replacement, one test at a time. In the world of nuclear deterrence, even the most reliable systems eventually need updating. The Minuteman III, despite its incredible longevity, faces its biggest transition since 1970. Originally designed to serve for just 10 years, it has surpassed all expectations. But now, after more than 5 decades of faithful service, change is coming. The Air Force has stretched the Minuteman III's capabilities through multiple life extension programs. These aren't simple tune-ups. They're complete overhauls of critical systems. New guidance computers, updated propulsion systems, and modernized security features have kept these missiles relevant in a digital age. But just like an old car that's been perfectly maintained, there comes a point when replacement parts become harder to find and new technologies can't be retrofitted into old frameworks. Enter the Ground-Based Strategic Deterrent, GBSD, now officially named the LGM-35A Sentinel. This isn't just an upgrade, it's a complete reimagining of what a land-based nuclear deterrent can be. Northrop Grumman won the contract with a design that looks deceptively similar to the Minuteman III, but packs technology that would have seemed like science fiction in 1970. Digital engineering, advanced materials, and modern electronics form the backbone of a system designed to serve until the 2070s. The timeline for this transition reads like a carefully choreographed dance. Starting in 2029, the Air Force will begin replacing Minuteman IIIs with Sentinels, one missile at a time. Think of it as changing engines on an airplane while it's still flying. The deterrent force must remain operational throughout the transition. Each silo will be modified, each command center upgraded, and each communication system enhanced. The price tag? Around $264 billion over the program's lifetime. Current modernization efforts focus on keeping the Minuteman III reliable until its replacement arrives. Teams are updating everything from the solid rocket motors to the guidance systems. They're installing new command and control equipment, enhancing security systems, and maintaining the extensive network of launch facilities. It's like keeping a classic car not just running, but ready to race at a moment's notice. This transition period represents one of the most significant changes in America's nuclear deterrent strategy. The Sentinel will introduce capabilities that its predecessor could only dream of: improved accuracy, enhanced security features, and better reliability. But perhaps most importantly, it's being designed with future upgrades in mind, learning from the Minuteman III's long service life. The challenge isn't just technical, it's strategic. How do you replace a weapons system that has helped maintain global stability for over 50 years? The answer lies in careful planning, methodical execution, and an unwavering commitment to maintaining deterrence throughout the transition. It's a delicate balance of preserving what works while embracing new technologies that can better address future threats. Numbers tell powerful stories, but none quite like the economic impact of the Minuteman III program. When people think of military spending, they often picture weapons and hardware. But this program pumps life into entire communities across America's heartland. Let's talk dollars and cents. Maintaining these missiles costs around $7 billion annually. That might sound like a lot, but here's what that money actually does. It employs over 9,000 military personnel and civilian contractors directly involved in operations and maintenance. These aren't just jobs. They're careers that support entire families. Missile maintenance technicians, security personnel, engineers, and support staff form the backbone of many communities in Montana, North Dakota, and Wyoming. But the impact ripples far beyond the bases. Think about a small town near a missile facility. The local diners serve breakfast to maintenance crews heading to work. Hardware stores supply tools and equipment. Hotels host visiting inspection teams. Real estate markets thrive as military families move in. Schools benefit from a stable population of military kids. In many of these communities, the Minuteman III program isn't just part of the economy, it is the economy. The development costs of keeping this system modern create another economic wave. Defense contractors hire engineers and technicians. Research facilities partner with local universities. Small manufacturing companies win contracts to produce specialized components. Each dollar spent on modernization multiplies as it moves through local economies, creating jobs and opportunities far from the missile silos themselves. In these heartland communities, the Minuteman III does more than protect America. It helps build it, one paycheck, one business, and one family at a time. As the program transitions to its successor, the Sentinel, these economic bonds between military necessity and community prosperity will only grow stronger. For over 5 decades, the Minuteman III has reigned as America's most powerful land-based missile. Its combination of incredible speed, reaching 15,000 miles per hour, intercontinental range of over 6,000 miles, and pinpoint accuracy makes it unmatched in military history. This perfect blend of power and precision has made it the backbone of America's nuclear deterrent force. Today, these 400 missiles represent the most sophisticated and powerful ground-based missile system in the U.S. arsenal. While other weapons have come and gone, the Minuteman III's unique capabilities and constant modernization have kept it at the forefront of America's strategic defense. As we look toward its replacement by the even more advanced Sentinel system, the Minuteman III's position as America's most formidable missile remains unchallenged. This remarkable weapon system has proven that true power lies not just in destructive capability, but in reliability, precision, and deterrent effect. As we've seen throughout this deep dive, it's more than just America's most powerful missile. It's a masterpiece of engineering that helped shape modern history. If you've enjoyed this inside look at America's most powerful missile system, hit that like button. And for more fascinating stories about extraordinary military technology, subscribe to our channel. We've got more incredible stories about powerful weapon systems coming your way. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of military excellence.